Robin Hood, James Bond, Mother Teresa syndrome. This may sound funny, but everyone will recognize themselves one way or another. It's a sensitive subject. We will try to break it down as simple and clear as possible, but we are aware that this is not funny or simple at all to recognize or admit this shit on ourselves. So don't react if something goes against what is said, but observe and verify yourself. This is part of the psychological warfare. We are all we're subject to it since little, and when we grow up, we just have the same characters, just some kind hidden in a different way. But it is important to analyze this stuff and to recognize that one way or another we get this influence of these stories and these characters, and take it over or follow others who we think they are really like the ones who want to get out of this whole thing. So we're gonna mostly watch first the problem, instead just to react and ask for a solution. Let's watch the problem a little closer. So we are being bombarded since little with images, stories, today more than ever through TV and screen and all that. We didn't have TV, so we had the stories. Result is mostly the same because this is going on for centuries to characterize people, yeah, and so we will see what it really means. But it is an unconscious subliminal influence that creates the complexes of who we really are, and is giving people credit they don't deserve and suck life energy from the ones who take this story on them. So all this different stuff have very much influence on what we do, on who we are. This is pure fantasy character, so it's from stories with, and the way we always have to do good and people judge what we are doing, and we are bombarded with all these heroes. It is obviously that unconsciously we take kind of role or a character of any kind of this storytelling. So it's change or alter, confuse and manipulate the perception, thoughts and feelings, and of course the whole behaviors when people get adult. So character, symbol marked on the branded on the body. Yeah, that's the etymology of it. A symbol or drawing used in sorcery. Again, it is this whole manipulation that is going on, creating the illusion, fiction of ourself. So, like the question many ask the children, what do you want to be or what do you want to become when you are adult? So the children are already there. What? I have to become someone, something. So they have the whole catalog of all these different characters they can choose and use and adopt. And this is what is creating this fantasy of who we really are, ourselves. So if we go a little bit through these three main characters that we have chosen here, the Robin Hood, defender of the poor, yeah, that's to pretend, but in fact he is stealing from the rich. So in the real story of Robin Hood, he was just a thief, yeah, frequently clashed with the sheriff of Nottingham, and was reused later for the May Day ritual. So this is quite interesting how this stuff is reused lately, with stories for children, and finally is used for a complete pagan ritual again. Flora. This is all going back to this May Day, and I'm not saying that Robin Hood is what is really here, but this is what they used, or what they recover, all this different stuff. And just to show here, May, yeah, climax, oral, anal, Baal, worship. That's the satanic holidays. So again, it is just recovered. It's just a story again recovered from itself. But he steals from the king. Again, we are talking about the king, yeah. He and again, female or male adapt this character, and of course they have the blind followers again, yeah, the merry man, and again he is stealing from the rich or from the king, and give it to the poor. This is what they pretend to do, but finally he was just stealing, and the story that was then turned around was that he is giving to the poor. But again, it is just creating followers. Yeah, it's just creating one hero who steal, and then some other lazy guys just can profit from it. But of course, the circle is just turning in the same wheel again. So then, so we have the character of the Robin Hood that this pretending to defend already the poor. So it is already like, oh, we have to steal from the rich to give it to the poor. A lot of people today talk about this, yeah. So they have to think where this idea is coming from, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. We have to stop giving money to the rich. But I mean, this would stop that the rich would have more money than the poor. Yeah, not the other way around. And this is always how they want to try to implement and make people important. And again, we're talking about the king. The king is always in this whole story, because James Bond, he is working for the king, pretending save the world, license to kill, work for the king or the queen, target the king declared bad man. Again, one of these, and he's a spy for the system. But sex first, of course. So again, we have the character that is saving the world, but for the king. Like Robin Hood is stealing from the king to give it to the poor. It is always this game that is about this power game that is recovered. And now we come, of course, to Mother Teresa, who many think she was really a saint. Yeah, they even declared her a saint on the Vatican. But if you really listen what she is saying, pain means Jesus is near you. Suffering is an opportunity to share in the passion of Christ. Mother Teresa was not a friend of the poor, she was a friend of the poverty. She said that suffering was a gift from God. It was by talking to her that I discovered that, and she assured me that she wasn't working for alleviate poverty. She was working to expand the number of Catholics, she said. I'm not a social worker, and I don't do this for this reason. I do it for Christ. I do it for the church. So all the money that people gave to Mother Teresa went to the Roman Catholic Church. So a lot in India, because they had a lot of homes there. They said Mother Teresa have to go, and we will just see why.
All these people are waiting to die. Picked up from the most desperate of situations, they've been brought to this shelter, known as the Home of the Dying in Kolkata. Many have critical illnesses and no one to look after them. This place, run by Mother Teresa's Missionaries of Charity, guarantees them meals and a place to stay until their end. But although this was her most famous project, it was also the most controversial. This man was brought here in the early hours of the morning. He's in pain, but his condition is only treated with some oxygen. There are no doctors around to help him.
He get all the care here, and why we have to take him to hospital and he die on the way or he will die in the hospital. So let him die comfortably in mother's lap.
However, this treatment of the sick and weak has been heavily criticized. Some suggest Mother Teresa romanticized poverty and suffering, but didn't do much to tackle it. This is Kali Ghat, the site of one of Kolkata's most holiest Hindu temples. It's also a popular place for the poor to gather and beg for alms. And it was here behind me that Mother Teresa started a home for the dying. For the thousands of Christians, Muslims and Hindus living on the streets of Kolkata, it didn't matter which faith she belonged to. For them, Mother Teresa was their saint.
So it's really all about she was really enjoying seeing people die. So that's why she made this home. Now the problem is that a lot of people take her as really like the one who is there to save to save people, or to have less poverty. But the real fact is that, and all of this charity, it just make people dependent. So more you're gonna help people, more they are helpless. And this is exactly what this whole twisted thing of all this whole charity is doing. So more in the video we will see, but many have this kind of Mother Teresa syndrome or complex to help the poor. But we can't help others. We will see that in the end why this is just fully non-responsible. Yeah? So she pretends to help and care the homeless, poor. She's not doing that. She is missionary of the Roman Church. Target the innocent, take the money from the poor and give it to the rich. So we have kind of these three characters are quite funny. To take as example, as main example for all what is coming, but it's just the beginning, because we will see the different stuff where the different characters are taking place in our mind. The hero syndrome, or complex, Latin hero, demigod, illustrious man, the target, the bad guys, the beast, declared by others as hero, yeah, he is not. And of course, this completely ego, self-esteem complex. And we just watch into a hero was a priestess, was not even a guy. So was a priest of Aphrodite, yeah. So again, we have all this fertility, pleasure, sexual beauty, love. And of course, we have these top 10 Greek mythology heroes of the most you have heard of course. And we all hear these stories, and the question is just, what does it leave in our head when we hear these stories? Yeah, is this just some innocent stuff that is just going away once we are coming? What is doing this story really in our head? It creates complexes, because people are really get influenced, and that is the same for the TV. I mean, TV influence people, game, and everything what is screen, stories, books, philosophers. We have to comprehend how huge the influence is on all sides, and how it is altering and changing our mind, our heart, everything what we are saying, how we are looking at things. So all this stuff is mixing up a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit Mother Teresa, a little bit James Bond, saving the world, defender of the poor, or stealing from the poor, pretending to. So this is all the character creating, and that's why if somebody like Greta is coming up, or a martyr, as Floyd, or anyone, and we always have extremes characters where you have a lot of people who follow these kind of things. Why they are following? This is also like the psychological question we have to ask. Why is so many people follow this kind of character or this kind of this kind? This is because they have their own self-esteem complex. They see themselves in these people, but because they are already characterized and completely confused who they really are, they have to project this on someone like that. And this is the same for Bill Gates. Yeah, in what kind of, is he a hero? Is he helping the poor, saving the world, stealing from the rich? Maybe not, but he's stealing. So you can use all these kind of characters, Brigitte Bardot, to saving the animals. Yes, she's to save the animals. This is one of the James Bond girl. Yeah, saving the animals on one side, but this is of course unacceptable. But this is normal. And this is extreme. And again, for the vegans, what kind of complex do they have? A little bit, all of them? I mean, to not kill animals and to eat them, this is all right. But to get aggressive against other or think that you are saving the world by doing this is again just creating followers. Because they are already following. It's the same for saving Africa. What technique would you use to save Africa? James Bond technique? We don't have to save Africa. This is since the whole Western world is going to Africa and plunder Africa since centuries, we have to stop destroying. We have to stop stealing. But we don't have to save Africa. And it's completely arrogance to think that we from Europe can save Africa. Do we really think that Africans are incapable to take care of Africa? This is what we give. And it is even very racist to want to save Africa. I'm sorry to say that. But this is just this illusion of the hero, and we have a wealthy thing and we have to save the poor. This is bullshit. And this is what creates like Greenpeace. Yeah. We never had so much pollution since creating of Greenpeace. And why they are always there where the people want them to look at. Another movement that is completely manipulated, and of course this we supported that as children. Greenpeace, WWF, we paid for that shit. We participate, as we said. We had all these different kind of characters, and we knew in different kind of situations, but we start to recognize on ourselves. So it is a eco-imperialism, the Greenpeace. And one of the founders, he is completely against what Greenpeace is doing today. And it's always recovered by the system. As soon we have kind of movement, something that is moving people, it is always recovered, no matter what. Same for the sea shepherd. It is taking again a good cause and recover it into a kind of skull and bones bullshit. It's always recovered, no matter where the people are in giving their intention into someone. This someone will just get his ego feed and he will just make destruction. We can't give up this responsibility to someone. We have to take this full responsibility ourselves. The rebel for life. You don't need to rebel for life. Yeah? And there is no extinction going on, then brain cells to think, and heart, and life. This is what is going on. But they are making the things worse, because they are again in a full occult bullshit where everything is recovered. So all the slogans, anytime people are shouting these slogans on this protests on this thing, these are rituals. These are mantras. This is a pure satanic worship. And the nice panda, who probably better should use this logo, because still many don't know, but it was created by Prince Philip to go to safari. And again, since the creation of WWF, we never had so huge extinction of animals. And he was shooting, not only he, but even the whole family. He was shooting one of the last white tiger. Here he is, Queen. So this whole thing is created that they took land away. They took a lot of killed a lot of animals, elephants, rhinos. So it was 300,000 elephants. Today is not even 100,000. So since they recovered all this intention to take care of nature, it get worse. Everything get worse because we give up our energy to someone else. Or save the earth. In what manner? Are we going to shoot around to save earth? Are we going to lock up people to save earth? Save humanity? Who is going to save humanity? Jesus? Because if we ask that something is really changing, more and more machine will take over. More and more the system will take over. More the whole system will destroy life. So no matter what complex or stories they have, it's all going back to some different kind of people, and they have the same complex. They have the same complex. I mean, Caesar, Hitler, the salute of Hitler and Caesar is exactly the same. Che Guevara, he was a killer. He was a murderer. Mandela, this is a costume of Order of Malta. This is one of the highest ranked military order in the world. They are above all governments. If you really went to prison, Gandhi, he was a pure racist. he was in South Africa. He was against the black people. He was defending the Indian people. Even in India, he was making more. He divide more people than what he bring together. This is all again storytelling. Yeah, even pedophile story about Gandhi and so on. So it is also going in this whole healing stuff, Messiah complex. This maybe is another video we're gonna maybe make, because this is a kind of higher up thing. But no matter what kind of illusion to save people, to save Earth, to heal people, we can't heal people. But we also have to recognize that all this Brother grimoire means calling the demons. Grammar comes from grimoire, grammarian. He's a magician. Fantasy story always start long time ago, far away, and always ends if they are not dead, they are still happy and alive. So all this have definitely a huge consequences in the head. And just here about James Bond, I mean, this guy was working for the military. Yeah, he was commander, intelligent commander at the British. So again, all these stories are just made to for the people to get manipulated. Here about the dark origins of the Grimm story. Maybe in America people don't know the Grimm stories, but I mean this Snow White and Cinderella and all this Rapunzel. These are stories you already hear through Hollywood. But just to say that these stories were never made for kids. Because it's a lot of sexual intercourses that was going on, and they just stripped the intercourses of that stuff. Here we can see that about graphic violence, sex, and rock and roll, child abuse, anti-Semitism, incest, wicked mother, become that also. So this is all stuff that is really is forging the mind. We just go on this now, maybe, so you can see what where we want to go on that. So here we have a list of orphans and foundlings, because a lot of this character in Hollywood, in the stories, they were foundlings, orphans or foundlings. The difference is orphans are where the parents died, and the foundlings when the child is just abandoned and they don't know where the parents are. So you have a lot of different characters in history where they are foundlings, and from the whole beginning, Egypt, and we just scroll down a little bit, but like Aristotle, Britannicus, Roman empires, Mandela. Again, now we start to see the links, how they are already themselves caught in this kind of trauma to not grow up with the parents. What gives them a kind of complete lack of empathy? Genghis Khan, Saddam Hussein, Arafat, again, emperor here. We just really scroll quickly down. Hitler. Yeah, His mother was working for Rothschild. Yeah, I think that was Stalin, Pope, Gorbachev. So a lot of important figures, they grew up in a complete destroyed family environment. Bolivia. So if you can start to point to stick the thing together, that a lot of people are already frustrated from the beginning, in their whole life. Cesare Evora. So you have different artists and composers. Bach. It is interesting document. Armstrong, Ray Charles. Yeah. So you have a lot. Even if you really watch deeper into it, you will really find the most important people who influence our society are completely lost themselves in life. So they didn't have any normal growing up also. And also, then you have most screw up fictional characters who are orphans. Yeah, they are all orphans. So you have Batman, you have Hannibal Lecter, Harry Potter, Dexter Morgan, Spider-Man, James Bond, again, Tarzan, Mowgli, E.T., of course. So, and this is even a reason why it is like this, because Disney lost his mother because he let fix. Yeah, Disney he let fix some people from Hollywood studio to fix the oven from the mother, and next day it burned. The house burned down. The mother died. So again, we have Disney who lost his mother, and because of this, he is making all this character in his movie without mother. Again, because we are under condition, we are conditioned, and so on. And the most successful, and this is a reason why, because they have like a lack of empathy, so they can get very obstinate about some stuff. So this is really a huge thing to comprehend. But this all have huge mental consequences about how we're perceiving things, how we think about things, how we're doing things. So complex is composed of interconnection parts formed by a combination of simple things or elements. So when we say it is complex, it is all these syndromes and all this influence are many little drops, raindrops, yeah, and some people just get wet and the other watch the little drops. And this is what the complex is forming. That's why you can say you have you are James Bond, you are Robin Hood. No, it's always a behavior. It's always in one kind situation or in another we behave like James Bond. We behave like, or we want to behave like, or then Superman. A syndrome are numbers of symptoms occurring together. From medical Latin Greek, syndrome occurring of symptoms occur of people from syndromos, place where several roads meet. Again, so forging a complex or creating a syndrome are always a lot of different influence. And this is what creating the trauma, the frustration, because we have to become someone. So we are choosing a combination of these fictional characters and just become, we will stay always frustrated because, I mean, you can see that with kids you make them believe they are Superman, but they never get Superman. They never have this power. And what is going on? So this is what is creating thing, and people just think this is just completely innocent. But you can watch a lot of adults, and they still have this kind of complexes. But of course, they disappear because we think this is how we are making our character. But character, again, the character, as you can see here, is a symbol drawing used in sorcery. So it's not something that we just adopt and take, and this is just coming up by itself. So the outcome of this is more and less, because we are trusting just kind of heroes, or not for some, and for the others he's a complete asshole, but everyone is focused on it. And this is what the system wants. The system wants to focus on it. Yeah? And this is what's creating these blind followers who just think that one of their character is one of this hero. Yeah? This is, again, this complex combination of want to save the poor. And of course, these patriots, same, yeah, want to play, but pretend to be. But nobody born with a flag in the ass. Yeah. So it's really important to start to question. But if we question, we also have to accept answers that doesn't fit what we already knew before. Otherwise, why we do question? So we have to get ready to have answers that doesn't fit in the idea that we already have. But again, what is the outcome? Yeah, have she saved a lot of children? Have he saved the world? Do we have less poor? This is what really going on. Have we saved the earth with all this protest? Less animal, worse. Everything gets worse all the time. This is just because more and more people just support all this kind of characters who think they will make a change. So it's not by trusting the plan and stop thinking that things will change. We really have to change them ourselves, otherwise we just get dependent all the time of someone, of something. So it is this tyranny of good, reversed psychology, this idol, superstar. And in music, it's the same thing. Yeah, this is what we saw that a lot with a lot of musicians and singers. They can't cope it. They can, in 10 minutes they are on stage, but sometimes they need 2 years to get down from the stage, because this is so overwhelming that they don't realize what is really going on, and because people are projecting so much. And this is the reason why we stopped, because people just abandon their energy instead to use it for themselves. So music, movie, gaming, sport, this is all what is creating these false ideas of life and how we have to become. And also this whole music, this star thing on TV is giving a huge complex to people who never touched the instrument, because they always think if they have to play, they have to do it like that. So of course, of one side we all get influence, but we have to filter this influence to really verify if this is something to adopt or not. Inspiration is great, observing is great, this is the way we are learning. But we have to use our filter, otherwise we just get more and more bullshit in our head. So if it's politicians, none of these politicians want to make free people, because who he would be politician too. Yeah. So if people would use politicians, then we would not use politicians anymore. And it's not by the politician that he will free you. We have to get away from this kind of thing. Same for YouTubers or truthers. Same what we are doing here. Think for yourself. Verify the thing for yourself. We are just putting out the facts, what is really going on. Then it's a responsibility of everyone what to do with it. The influencer, yeah, this is funny, because in the society, influencers are great, but if some people on YouTube have influence, it's bad. Again, this is just this whole reverse psychology. And of course, it is always to giving up life, because to create a character or to adopt a character is always taking away something from who we are not, from who we are, and creating someone who we are not. So this energy is feeding hero ego, and is feeding the system again, because ego is always the system. This is the top of the pyramid. The ego is the all-seeing eye of the top of the pyramid. It's not at the top of the pyramid. It is here. So we have to let this go and stop letting people influence ourselves of what we do, think, feel, and say. Not to make people important, and that is also what we are saying here. Some try to ask, can you tell me more about Jabba? But all what Jabba will tell you is what Jabba will tell you. You can observe Jabba, what he is doing, and if it makes sense, then it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. But don't try to make Jabba important. It is all importance is what we are exposing here. So Jabba is not more important than anyone who is watching it, or not. We can't save, heal, or protect others. This is a difficult point for many things, that we can't do that, because we just create a dependency. They will always require the hero again to get out of other stuff. So it is not responsible to think to be responsible for someone else. We only can heal ourselves and inspire others to do it, of free choice. We can change others without manipulating them. How do you want to change thoughts of others without manipulating them? You can't. This is the same for our kids. We can't change our kids. We just can show them that if they are doing something that is against themselves or life or others, to show them what the consequences are. But we can't change them. We can show them another way how to look at things, but we can't change the way they look at things. And this counts for everyone. So this is again is a kind of messiah complex that we didn't put too much here inside, but we were aware of that also. We want to change the world. No, we can't. We can change ourselves. We can change everything on ourselves, our thoughts, our words, our feelings, the way we behave, what we're doing. This we can change, but we never can change anyone else. It is again this kind of ego, selfishness and arrogance that make think that we can really change others. We can confront people to make them aware that what they are doing is against life, or even against themselves, or against the environment. But everyone have the free choice to destroy themselves, even if suicide is illegal. That's really a silly law, but that's true, at least here. But who want to destroy themselves? Nobody want to destroy themselves. Nobody want to destroy their family. Nobody want to destroy the life around themselves. But it is happening. So we have to start to realize how much influence our thoughts, behavior, how we do things, how we perceive things is really working. People don't want to destroy themselves, they destroy themselves, but they're always blaming someone else. So this is another kind of victimization that the people are doing. As soon as you confront them, they are like, oh no, why you are so mean with me? No, I'm just telling you that what is harming, what you're doing is harming, but you are not victim of it. You are fully responsible to get away from it. We were not responsible when we get manipulated as kids, but we are fully responsible to get away from it. And what we are doing today. So the most important part is really to remember what is going on. Really, in life, make the difference between all this fictional bullshit, this fantasy, and remember who we really are. A long way, but step by step, by recognizing all this bullshit that is coming upon us, and instead to just cry for a solution, to set up the wheel again, watch at the setup. So we are not in the problem, reaction, solution in this whole thing again, and recognize our own traumas from childhood. This is the way we stop the war upon life. Thanks for watching.